Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series. How is everybody doing today? It's so nice to see all your smiley faces. And there you are. Don't you just love that new logo and the slide and just the whole bit? I tell you, when we hear that theme song and we hear that music, we just get supercharged because we know something cool is going to be happening. And that's another episode of the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series. Probably saw it on the screen already. Hello, JMS Lovity Squad. That's our viewers, our faithful viewers who watch this series all the time religiously. They're always here. They're commenting. They're sharing the lovity. They're sharing the likes. They're sharing the tweets, the Instagramming, and the Facebooking by sharing the links to all of our episodes on your social media. And I think that's really cool. How's everybody doing today? It's a nice 50 degrees and sunny here in the northeastern United States. Of course, we're here in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area along the southern New England coast between New York and Boston. Beautiful, beautiful day. Very spring-like day here today. So spring is inching closer and closer for us. Hope wherever you are watching, any time of the day it may be or night, I hope your day is going well. We say hello to the JMS Lovity Squad. And of course, we are excited because we have a special guest who's making a return visit. Yes, this is his second visit to Lovity Hall here in the Jim Master Show Live. Dwight Turner, television, film, stage actor extraordinaire, is coming back for some more chat, more JMS Lovity, and a lot of cool new projects that he's working on as well. Some really cool, exciting things that we're very excited to share with you. And we're going to share some of that with him as well. He's all excited. He's coming to us today from the greater Louisville, Kentucky area. Kentucky is his home base, but of course, he's usually in LA or New York producing, or other parts of the country as well. I just want to say, for you guys watching live who have yet to subscribe to our channel where we house all of these episodes, which is the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, give it a subscribe. You see a red button there, right? Click that red button and make sure you click the notification bell so you get alerts when we have our episodes, which is just about 7 days a week live. Don't forget to give this episode a hearty like and leave a comment on the YouTube channel as well. As I mentioned, Dwight is joining us, and we're so excited because he has a bevy of incredible things that he's been working on. You know him from probably Chicago Fire on NBC, Anything But Christmas. We have the trailer actually for that. We're going to show that as well. The Deported, and lots of other incredible television work, film work, stage work, and commercial work as well. And if you'd like to comment live during the show in chat, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, that's a special gift exclusively for our subscribers. So subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost anything, and you get to chat amongst yourselves, and we get to see the comments as well live while you are chatting. And again, if you'd like to support the series, you could do that. They've created something special called Super Chat, Super Emojis, Super Stickers, something you can do in chat. Many of you have been doing that. We thank you so much. And there's also a little thanks icon on the YouTube channel on all the episodes. And if you click that heart icon, you can support the channel as well and all the hard work. But really excited to welcome our buddy back from a very busy day for him. He had some very important calls. I can't tell you, but he's had some really cool things happening in his life. And why don't we just welcome him back right now? Keep the comments coming. We got a bevy of comments from our Lovity Squad, our viewers coming in live. Again, I hope you're having a good day. If you're not, kick back. This is the place, our entertainment lifestyle talk show series. We've done about 600 and almost 650 episodes live 7 days a week since we started this monster series back in April of 2020. Matter of fact, we're coming up really soon on our 2-year anniversary. We'll have to plan some special things. Let's welcome Dwight live and direct from greater Louisville, Kentucky. Hey, my friend, welcome back for round 2 with the Jim Master Show Live.
Thank you so much, Jim. You are one of the busiest people I know. I don't know how you do it.
I know it is kind of, sometimes I don't know how I do it either. It just gets a little crazier and crazier, but you know how it is, Dwight. If you love what you do and you've been immersed in it and you've made it part of your passion and your desire, and it's something you've worked hard at, it doesn't even seem like work, right?
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head with that one. When you really love what you're doing, and some of us are lucky enough to be involved in things like that, then sometimes it doesn't seem like work. Yes, we work hard. Yes, we put in long hours, but especially when you get to do what I do and envelop a character, it's exciting and fun, and you come away at the end of the day just feeling like, wow, that was fantastic, and that's a good day to have.
So obviously, when we chatted last on the air on the show, we were really in the thick of it, almost the beginnings of the whole pandemic
Yes, you were
situation,
developing
right?
the whole Lovity thing, I think, like a couple of episodes before. So, hello out there to all the Lovities. I
Yes.
am happy to be back. Happy to see all of you again. And Jim, just let me mention up front because I forget a lot of times at the end with the interviews. If you guys want to reach out and see what I'm doing, the best places to go are dwightturner.com and imdb.com/Dwight Turner. And there's going to be a lot of updating coming to my website soon. I've been putting things off, but there's a bunch of stuff happening. So be prepared for
Very
a bunch of
cool.
new stuff.
That's it. Keep working. So I was saying that, we were almost at the start of the pandemic, or actually in maybe the early part of the pandemic already when you were here last. And how have you been? How have you gotten through it? What are some of the things you experienced? And what are some of those teachable moments that
Wow.
you've experienced during
Oh
this
my
time of
gosh.
great reflection and downtime and time to really think about life and what we want to do with our lives going forward?
Yeah. Well, let me just say first that since the beginning of the year, basically since January 1st, my days have been nonstop. I've been busier now than any time before COVID hit, or anytime, let me rephrase that, anytime since the period when COVID hit. That's the way to
Yes.
say it. Um, During COVID, it was terrible, like it was for most of us. I love three things in life: people, my work, and traveling, and all three of those were taken away.
Mm,
So that was hard for me.
yeah.
Um, I did a lot of interviews because, we had discovered Zoom and we discovered online interviews. So I did, I think, like over 30 interviews during a
See what we triggered at Levity Hall? Right after you
Exactly.
were
Yes,
here, everybody
yes,
called
Jim.
you.
You were the first one. You actually were the first of that whole series of interviews that I did. And then an interesting thing happened that was unexpected, which I ended up landing a lead role in a musical.
Now that was
And
really exciting. Now was that the script you were holding that you had to go through that night? Because I remember you
yes,
were mentioning to me you kept a surprise media for everybody. The folks who were involved in that musical, the producers, saw the Jim Masters show live, saw our conversation, the episode you were on, and that sort of aided in your getting the role. I mean, that's incredible.
Jim, you must have sprinkled a little magic on there. So I've got some other stuff in some really big stuff that's in the works. So sprinkle a little more. Let's
There's
make it
more of that
happen.
lovety dust.
There we go.
How cool was that to have that happen, huh? That they
Mhm.
watched the show to learn a little bit more about you too, because we had an epic conversation when you were first on, going, into the earlier days of how you all got started. And if people want to see that episode, it's still available on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, when Dwight was first here. But so that's cool. And things like that sometimes happen. I'm so happy for you that whatever we did aided in that. Of course, your talent and skill is what nailed
Well,
it, but whatever we
here's
did.
the interesting part about that. I didn't realize that I had that talent and skill. I knew I could sing, but I didn't imagine being the lead in a musical like that. And
Yeah.
the musical was put off because of COVID. We couldn't stage it, so it is supposed to happen later in the year this year, if the time frame continues as it is expected. But we did do a cast album. So you can go to Apple Music or Spotify or Pandora, type in my name, Dwight Turner, and guess what?
It's
Songs
there.
come up, which is something that I'm thankful for, but never, honest to goodness, never imagined that
Mm.
that would be happening.
But what did you learn about yourself and about life and about going forward through this pandemic? Because for a lot of people, the world stopped. A lot of
Mhm.
people, especially in the arts, there weren't the phone calls, the stages were closed, the TV studios were limited,
Yeah.
and there was a lot that really impacted so many people. And it was a time for people to reflect on their lives, all the things they've done before, and maybe even tackle some hobbies and things that they always wanted to do that they never had time to do. How about you? Was there any different, mindset or coming out of that, a new approach? And were there things that you got a chance to do during all of this time of reflection and reboot that you didn't have time for before because of the busyness?
Well, one of the things that I came away from that time period with is how much I love and miss acting. Um, it's like, taking away my arm. You're taking away a big part of me and what I do and what I love. And so, so happy to be, back and in a different situation now and able to be very busy again. Um, One of the other things that I realized is just how much I missed traveling
Hmm.
and missed being around people. I've been lucky. I've traveled to 23 countries. I've been to every state in the US except Alaska. And I truly, truly missed it during that
Yeah.
time period.
Yep.
Um, and I missed being around people. I'm a people person. It's probably part of why I'm an actor. I love being around people. And not having that had a definite effect on me. I watched a lot of movies. I called a lot of people on the phone, did video chats with friends, and
You
was
and I
so
texted a lot.
texted a lot. I was so very, very, very thankful when things began to open up again and we could go out and see friends again and have fun.
Did you have time to spend time with family during any of it? And how is everybody?
Yes.
Everybody get through it okay?
Yes. Well,
Good.
yes. Unfortunately, I actually had a relative who succumbed to COVID
To COVID.
and an uncle, and that was very, very sad situation.
Oh, yeah.
But for the most part, everyone got through it. I do have an aunt who is still experiencing symptoms from it,
Yeah.
but it's a tough situation. And
Yeah.
I am just so happy, Jim, that we are to the point where we are now, where things are getting back to the way they were. And let's hope,
Mm.
everyone, let's hope
Fingers
that,
crossed.
fingers crossed, that we don't have
A
another bad
rebound with
situation
some
with that.
other
Yeah,
variant, or
exactly.
there is something in Europe they're talking about,
No,
but we'll
no.
keep that out. We'll keep that out of the
Yes,
vernacular.
yes.
The vaccine vernacular. VV, double V. Uh, so life's been okay. Life's been good, and you've been keeping busy. Now,
Life has been
you've
good.
been
I have been
traveling. Have
busy.
you been able to start traveling again?
Oh my
'Cause
gosh,
yeah.
yes. And I'm loving every minute of it. So I'm a travel person. I love to travel. So, and that's part of the reason why I love it when I go on location with my work, because I get to travel and get paid to travel, which is completely wonderful. Um, so one of the interesting things that I've been involved with since the beginning of this year. So let me start off by saying a lot of people don't know this. I don't even know if you know it, Jim, but I used to work at Warner Brothers Studio.
Hmm.
And when I worked there, I was what's called a content creator, which is basically you are a like top producer and you're overseeing the production of online shows for Warner.
Did you enjoy
And
that? Did you enjoy the behind the scenes?
I did. It was a roller coaster ride. It
It
was
is, yeah.
quite an experience. Now, since I left that, I had not produced another show. I concentrated on the acting side of things until now, and I have become involved with a production that's coming up called Paranormal Frequency, and it is a paranormal show. Now, let me just
Very cool, huh?
yes, and paranormal shows are popular right now. Now, let me set the baseline for this so people can understand. The executive producer, my co-executive producer, Draven Despain, is a paranormal expert and has been working with the paranormal for years. I am a paranormal skeptic.
Skeptic.
But we're approaching this from different viewpoints. My viewpoint is when things happen that can't be explained, I'm trying to figure out, how did it happen? And we have some things with this show that I can't reveal, but that are different than the other shows that are out there or have been out there, that I think are going to be really exciting to people to see something that they haven't seen before. And we also have some amazing locations lined up that we're going to be filming at beginning in May. And I'm very excited about that.
That's great. And they're all on the tip of your tongue, but
they're all on the tip of my tongue, but I can't say too much. But I can tell you this: you can go to paranormalfrequency.com, or you can go to helloparanormal.com, which will also take you to paranormalfrequency.com. But Hello Paranormal is so easy to remember, and it just rolls off the tongue. And actually, I'm very curious with the lovities out there, the viewers. What do you like better out of those two names, Paranormal Frequency or Hello Paranormal? What works for you for a paranormal show? I'd love it if you put it in the comments. I'd love to read that to see what people think between those two names, Paranormal Frequency or Hello Paranormal.
I would probably go with Paranormal Frequency just because it has a certain, I don't know, not the gravitas, but there's just a certain sound and intrigue. And of course, I've dealt throughout my entire career with many frequencies on radio and television.
Yes, you have.
I've got to go with Frequency. It just has a certain... Yeah, see? It just has a certain... And the whole... Zzz, let's show that again. That's just really cool. I like it. I think
now, if you go to the website, we don't have the video up there right now, but it's going to be up there. But we have a new logo that looks a little. It's a similar idea, but looks a little bit different. A little. That's that extra little bit of sparkle to it.
So far, they're saying Paranormal Frequency. They're all going with Paranormal Frequency so far. Lisa, I agree with Jim, Dwight. Linda says, I love Paranormal Frequency because it seems more interesting. Merlin says the same thing. Sherry says the same thing. So far, what you've already got going.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, remember the times, and we've all done it. And there's a few times I wish I didn't, when you were not necessarily the SATs, but we probably did that on the SATs too, but you're taking a test at school and you've got multiple choice, A, B, C, and you go with A first, and then you question yourself, and then you go with C, all of the above, and it really turns out you should have stuck with A. So who knows?
Exactly. Well, Paranormal Frequency certainly has that ring to it, and I think it goes well with the genre. So it looks like at least for this group, Paranormal Frequency is definitely the winner.
Leading. Well, hey, when I said Light, Love, and Levity, and I accidentally said Levity, I threw it out to our viewers too, and I said, do we keep the E? We take the E out because grammatically E isn't correct, and they all voted to keep the E in so we don't touch the word love. So that's how that all came about. But yeah, Paranormal Frequency. So is it going to be a multitude of series, or is it a one-shot deal? How's it going to work?
Well, I can't say too much, but the idea is it's not a one episode thing.
So that's cool. That's great. It'll be once people get into it and get hooked on it, it'll be something that they'll be able to see.
And
hopefully it's on the Sci-Fi Network or something. That'd be cool, huh?
And let me say this other thing, if you don't mind if I put this out there. We are looking for a female who is experienced with the paranormal.
Who's had
So,
experiences
and who
as
is in the area of, let's say, Kentucky or Tennessee or Ohio or Indiana, like that general area.
the Midwest. Yeah.
If you know anyone who fits that bill and would be interested, reach out. You can reach out by sending an email to info@paranormalfrequency.com.
Terrific. Now is that somebody who has experienced something involving paranormal? Is that what you mean? Somebody who has like a story to tell, to share?
No, we're
Or
actually
is it an
looking
actress?
for someone who would be interested in joining us on as a 3-part host
Oh, I see what
on
you're saying.
the show. Yeah.
Yeah. Terrific. Nice, huh? That's
Yeah.
exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
And so besides that, we have, one of the other things that I worked on not too long ago was my first Christmas movie, which is kind of the opposite of paranormal, right? We're kind
It's
of going
anything but Christmas.
anything but Christmas. And that is going to be, hey, who's that guy?
Who is that guy? He
Who
just
is
slipped
that
in
guy?
here.
Well, let me tell you, I've played good guys and bad guys,
Versatility.
and drama and comedy. This is a comedy, and he is not a nice guy. He is an attorney who is bound and determined to get rid of the word Christmas in Christmas. Voila, anything but Christmas.
That's actually happened in reality too, hasn't it?
Well, listen, I have 2 holidays that I absolutely love. I love Halloween and I love Christmas. And so this
Yes, yeah,
when I
Christmas for
was
me, yeah.
offered when I was offered this role and I read the script, I was like, oh my God, I got to play this part. And it was a really fun part to play. And this project ended up becoming part of a 6-picture deal for the production company. And so as part of that 6-picture deal, my understanding is now it's going to be released this coming holiday season. So probably around like the Thanksgiving time period.
That's nice, huh?
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter are some of my favorites. It's funny because a lot of people like their birthday. I wouldn't say my birthday is my favorite because I'm such a we person, and your birthday is I, where Christmas is we, Thanksgiving is we, Easter is we. So I tend to like those holidays even more than my own birthday, if that makes any sense.
I always try when I can to take the day off for my birthday.
I have a friend that does that. Yeah.
And when my birthday comes around, I don't think of it as one day. I think of it as my birthday month. So I try to plan fun things throughout that month.
So you do a whole celebration, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool. So what else have you been doing? What are some of the other things that have been happening in your life?
Oh my gosh.
Not just projects, but like, how have you been yourself?
I have been really good. I like being busy, and one of my mottos is better busy than bored. So when
the BBB.
This year, pardon?
The BBB.
Yes. Yeah. So when this year started off and has just been nonstop since the beginning of the year, I'm very happy with that. It's being busy for me and doing things that I love
is important.
It's important, and I enjoy it so much.
I think for anybody, because you just feel like you're offering value and you're contributing and you're connecting with everybody, which is if you're communal and you're a communicator. One of the reasons why I started this series, which we do not as a podcast, but I treat this like a television series, done in the same manner and shape and form as a traditional TV series you would have seen with Carson, Cavett, Regis, Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas, with the modern twist, modern vibe.
But also, Jim, for
communicate
you
connect.
You actually do television.
I do work in it. Yeah. We have the trailer actually to Anything But Christmas. Did you want to preface that at all, Dwight?
Oh, let's see. I'm trying to think. Okay, let me have a little
have that chocolate espresso, right? And cheers.
Cheers, Jim. There we go.
We'll say since St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow, we'll say slancha.
Ah, slancha.
The Irish toast.
So I believe the clip, well, no, actually now I remember the clip that you've got is the trailer. So so this will give you an overall view of what the movie's about. Just gonna keep in mind that my character's goal is to get rid of the word Christmas in Christmas. Which is totally unlike me in real life. I love Christmas.
I was going to say they would boot you right out of Kentucky. That's it. Are you kidding me? Anything but Christmas. It's really cool, folks. Dwight Turner is my special guest here on the Jim Masters Show Live, Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, beaming all across the globe, as Tom Snyder used to say, with those colored teenies that are flying through the air. Thanks for all the great comments. Keep the comments coming. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, where we house over 600 episodes of your favorite place for entertainment and poignant conversations, light, love, levity, and levity. Now it's time for anything but Christmas. Boo-hoo. Scrooge. But in his heart, he loves Christmas. Here we go.
Our proposal to dismiss the name Christmas for a less religiously targeted name is certainly not too much to ask. We are looking for a more appropriate name, but it needs to be anything but Christmas.
Thank you, Representative. Back to you, Bobby.
Oh. Hello? How can I help you, Mr.
I'm an elf.
An elf?
An elf from the North Pole visited me. He hired me.
Who does he work for?
Santa.
Santa who?
Santa Claus.
That's it. Last one.
Hey, I didn't get my turn.
Go have a cup of coffee or something.
Can I sit on your lap?
Can't you see I'm on my break?
And you work for Santa?
Yeah, of course.
Santa Claus.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
It's Nicholas. Just Nick.
How would you like to appear on TV?
Do you know Santa? Do you know Frosty?
Why are you the only one here?
Christmas is in trouble.
Do you work for a guy named Nick?
Bart works for me.
Works for you?
I'm St. Nicholas.
That explains it. You're crazy.
He helps a lot of people. He's Santa.
So what makes you think you're Santa Claus?
My name is Nicholas.
And you live at the North Pole?
I have an office there.
Let me guess, you manufacture toys.
Christmas is not about the name. It's about the traditions. And an attack on that name is an attack on those traditions.
Are you serious?
You're gonna lose.
If we change the name, what would we even call it?
Anything but Christmas.
Anything but Christmas? Anything but Christmas.
Well, I don't know, anything.
Please don't say anything but Christmas.
This is about a day. The one day in the entire year where families come together. Children laugh and, well, something magical happens. Time.
Very cool, huh?
Yeah, you know, it's just a fun, even though he's not a nice guy,
I know.
fun role to play.
Do you like taking on roles that are opposite of who the real Dwight Turner is? Do you find that a challenge when it is? And do you lean more? I don't know if I've ever asked you this question, because Dwight and I have known each other before even he came on the Jim Masters Show Live the first time. We met actually at that fabulous party in Manhattan.
In the incredible penthouse birthday party in New York, where
Chuck
like
Steffen and Ron
Broadway
Abel
was there.
Yes, right, exactly. That was really cool. We need to have more of that stuff happening, and I think that will happen again. But I don't think I've ever asked you if you like to lean more comedy or drama.
I don't really have a preference. What I tend to lean more towards is the fascination with the character.
Yeah.
So if a character really says something to me when I'm reading the script, and I feel like I have something really to give to that, and I can bring, I feel I can really do something with that. That's what's going to interest me more than anything else. I guess if I absolutely had to narrow it down, Jim, I would say I like film first and then television, and possibly drama before comedy, but I love them all. I love all of them, and they each have their own thing, and it's a very different way of working. Comedy deals a lot with the timing.
Yes.
Television can be very fast as compared to film, which, you know, you have a little bit more time, a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times. So it can be a very different work experience, but each and every one is exciting, and I find joy in each and every project I do.
Yes. Again, exciting with the Paranormal Frequency because you're involved in producing that. And that is really, really something special. I've produced a lot of television. And, you know, it's a whole other thing. It's really, really, it's cool. It's a cool thing when you can be a part of it from the talent side, but also produce. And they are, you know, each one of those, as we know, can, you know, take up all the time. I mean, you can really, you have, because you have to focus on each.
You really do. Yeah.
Even with this series, I'm the producer and the host, so I understand having had those opportunities. But there's something cool about it when you have that extra. You're not just saying the lines or just performing. There's another investment that is made personally in the project when you're involved in the direction and or production of it. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. You're creating in a different way. When I'm acting, I'm certainly creating, but when I'm involved with producing, and this is a, you know, executive producer position, so it involves a lot. So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on, a lot of things that have to be figured out, and it's a very different process than creating a character. Creating a project is all in, as you know, Jim, it's all inclusive. And that is part of the reason that things have been literally non-stop. And when I say non-stop, I am not kidding.
Yes.
Non-stop every single day.
Yes.
Since the beginning of this year.
At least. Yeah. Cause once you step in, you're in, and it's 100%. And there's something exhilarating. You know, a lot of people talk about all these industries, and there are times when I think every single one of us has had a moment where we've said, you know what, maybe I'll try something different, you know, because it's so demanding, and the time and the hours and the blood, sweat, and tears and all the things, that the ups and the downs. And there are times when I think every single one of us has said, maybe I'll explore something different. And then it calls you back. It just calls your name. And then, you know, have you ever had moments where you say, you know, yeah, maybe I'll explore something different. Maybe I'll try something else. But then you just say, hey, I love it with all that comes with it. The hours, the craziness, the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears. It's still what I absolutely love doing.
So throughout my life, I've had instances of where situations kind of, what's the best way to put it, kind of fell into my lap. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, well, this is an amazing opportunity, an incredible experience. So I'm going to give this a go and do it for a little while. The problem with that is that if it pulls you too far away from what you truly love, which for me is acting, then yes, you miss it terribly, and you eventually come back to it. And I reached a point of where, you know, I know now in my life, like this is it. This is what I love. And so, you know, there's little reason to go outside of what you know that you truly love. And when you figure that out and can do that, then that can lead to real happiness.
If you weren't doing any of this, what would be that other backup gig? What would be the other thing that you would be doing?
Now, when you say not doing this, do you mean acting or involved in the entertainment industry?
Exactly. The entertainment industry.
Honestly, nothing comes to mind. Nothing else comes to mind because I love what I do and I love working in the entertainment industry.
Do you like writing?
You know what? I do. And that actually, but I consider that part of the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
That is something that I actually have. It's interesting that you said that because I don't think we've ever talked about this.
We never talked about this.
I have a script idea in the works, and yeah, but I haven't begun that process yet. I've been doing some like training, some looking at the best ways to lay that out and talking to some people about the process. But it's very interesting that you said that because yeah.
That's why I'm here.
It's something that may be not too far around the corner.
That's why I host. I ask those questions. People, I mentioned in the introduction, people also might remember you, of course, from the series on NBC, Chicago Fire. What was it like? I know we talked about it a little bit a year or so ago when you were on, but what was it like being a part of that series? Pretty cool, huh?
It was, and to this day, it is one of my favorite projects that I've worked on. I have a number of projects that I just truly loved, and that is one of them. I landed that project. I landed Chicago Fire when I travel back and forth a lot with what I do. I'm back and forth between LA, Kentucky, Atlanta, New York. And so I was back in this part of the US where I am right now, which is Kentucky, when I landed that role. And I had never worked in Chicago before. The show films out of Chicago, and I did not know what to expect, truly. So I went up and I was thinking like, okay, this is a big show, but how's this going to go? How's this going to work? Because I was used to working in LA. And I was completely thrilled and surprised. It was a fantastic experience. Everybody, it was like clockwork. And I came away from working with the show just feeling like, wow, this is, really wonderful. Wonderful group of people.
And the recognition, it's on a national network like NBC's.
Oh, yeah.
Little nifty too, huh?
Oh, yes. And I do get recognized from time to time for that show. And every once in a while, someone will even say, you killed Otis. Because I was Otis, the doctor that sent him back to being a fireman. And then he unfortunately died. So, yeah. But I have to tell you, he was so nice in person. We worked together and just really, really, really wonderful experience.
Which is really, really cool too. Also, here's another one. The Deported.
Yeah, that was that was with Talia Shire, and you may remember her from playing Rocky's wife.
Yeah.
And Nicholas Turturro.
Paul Rodriguez. Yeah.
And an interesting story. Oh my gosh, forgive me, Jim, if I tell this again, but it was just funny because I knew I was working with Nick. I did not realize that I was going to be working with Talia. And so I'd read the script, but I didn't know that she was cast in that role. That had not been revealed to me. And so when I showed up and I'm going through hair and makeup, I'm sitting there in the chair and there's this nice lady next to me and we're talking from time to time, and they're doing my makeup, they're doing her hair. And at the end of the guy finishing her hair, he reached down, he pulled out 2 DVDs and he said, "Would you mind?" And I'm like looking over and I'm like, that's Rocky and Rocky 2. And so I was like,
let me see.
Oh
let me Google who I'm sitting next to.
That is Talia Shire. So, and she ended up being the absolute sweetest and nicest person. Between takes, we would sit and just like talk and have fun, and she was great.
I think we've got a clip from there as well, I think, I know we have this photo. Wow. So what was your role for folks that are watching there? Okay, what was...
So my character's name was Theophelies. And I have a big, that's actually from one of the scenes in the film where I have a big argument with Nick Turturro's character, Johnny. And we literally go at it back and forth on the front steps of the house.
Now, did you have to put on an accent? Was there sort of a non-Kentucky sound?
Oh, yeah. There's definitely a non-Kentucky sound. So,
I think we actually have a clip of that.
Okay.
Let's hear that non-Kentucky. Now, I have a question. Did you get to keep the shirt?
Yes, I actually did. I did get to keep the shirt.
Cool.
And of course, that was Kathrine Narducci in that scene that I was working with as well. And it was funny because Nick, for weeks after that, even for the wrap party, he would come up to me and he'd say, "It is fabulous," which was hilarious to hear him do.
To do the actual.
Yeah.
That is funny. They're all saying, "Oh, that was funny. That was funny." Love Chicago Fire too, as well, which is kind of cool. Great picture with the shirt. That's really, really cool. So, when was that? When was that shot?
Oh my gosh, that was filmed. That was a
right?
while back. Oh, I'm not sure about the year, but it's been a while. That was one of my earlier feature films.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were also a part of 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yes. which bizarrely enough, Jim, is one of the things I get recognized to this day for. You think like Chicago Fire, and I do get recognized for that a lot. But 1,000 Ways to Die is another show where because it had a huge cult following, which I did not even realize what a cult following it had until I did the show. But yeah.
I would imagine anytime you go in for a routine medical exam and you have to stretch out on the table, they say, "Wait a minute," because they're in the same position. Is that the same Dwight? They recognize you, the medical community, from that position.
and that lovely position right there is after I bit the dust.
Yeah, it's after you bit the dust, I tell you. Wow.
And you see the office is in disarray there. And
yes,
the director was like, "Dwight, go for it. Just go for it. Just rip it apart, tear things up." I was like, "Okay."
This is just before, right?
Oh yeah, that's my character throwing a tantrum.
Is that something that people can still see? Can they still see this anywhere? Is it on Amazon or any of the other?
Good question. I honestly don't know the answer to that.
Probably if they Google it, maybe it'll come up.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It'd be kind of cool. We're probably piquing, their interest now. Our lovely viewers are like, "Yeah, I want to see him. I want to see Dwight that way." We've seen him all the other coiffed ways. Now we want to see that.
If you want to see me throw a tantrum and rip an office apart, then yeah, go watch the episode.
And that's just when they don't serve the craft services he likes.
that's when I don't get my espresso. I was kidding.
That's not just any espresso. That's a chocolate one or something, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's chocolate espresso.
Hey, I do my research.
You do.
So how was it spending a day at the White House?
So that's the musical that I was referring to earlier.
Yes.
And that is me and Sarah Turner Holland, who also has Turner in her name, and song that we did there is "What Would George Washington Think?" And Jim, listen, for someone who never expected or was had it in his career idea to have songs on streaming music services. It's still fascinating to me that I can go to Apple Music or Spotify or Pandora, some of these things, and type in my name and have these things come up. So that's the show, and we're looking at putting that up later this year. Once again, it got canceled. Well, you don't want to say canceled. It got put off because of COVID.
Yeah, on pause.
And so now we're at a situation of where we can stage things again and have an audience. And so stay tuned, people, because A Day at the White House is going to be coming your way.
You know, it's good every once in a while too, when you just want to sort of change the pace and you just want to have a good time, and you just want to throw maybe caution to the wind and not worry about stuff, and maybe just if you have a hectic day, you just want to escape from it all, you head on over to Newport Racing and Gaming.
Yes. Well, Newport Racing and Gaming is actually a Churchill Downs company. So everybody's familiar with Churchill Downs, the very famous racetrack where the Derby happens.
Yeah.
So so this is, Jim, this is the interesting thing for me. I never this kind of goes along with the musical stuff. I never intended to pursue modeling. I never thought of myself as a model, but yet the older I get, and this is what's bizarre to me, the older I get, the more modeling jobs I'm getting.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And I think it's going hand in hand that way because, when you get one job, then the agents start pushing you more for that because they see it as a viable possibility.
Exactly.
And I actually had to turn down another runway show today, literally today, just because of all the stuff going on. But listen, I am so appreciative for every single project that I get, whether it is acting, whether it is singing, whether it is modeling, commercials, voiceover. I love them all, and am very appreciative for each and every one. But the interesting thing, though, is with the modeling jobs, is I'm doing more of them. What I'm finding is, they're pretty darn easy. I don't have to learn any lines. I don't have
are they print work, or is it where you are on a runway and you're walking and showing
so
fashions or product?
Mostly print, but yes, there's runway as well. So for print work, it seems like the hardest thing about it is literally just standing in place for a while.
Print is great. You ever do any? I used to do it actually in the early part of my career, modeling in New York, on Long Island, and there would be hand models, foot models, people that were just specific in certain areas. Were you ever selected for any specific things too, or is it full Dwight?
Well, my ear.
The ear?
No, I'm kidding.
Left or right ear?
I'm kidding with you.
Because they're not equal.
I'm kidding. No, I've never done hand modeling. I have never, although I
had a friend that used to do it, and he made a few bucks
from the hand modeling,
just doing hand modeling. He used to come out from the city to out on the island and was one of our co-hosts on public television. And his day job was as a hand model. And I remember, even in the studio with all the equipment and the movement and the fast pace of the studio, he was very, very particular about not bumping into anything, not injuring his hands.
Oh, because he didn't want to hurt his hand.
And when he had to pick up something to show it on camera, it had to be done very gingerly because the hands were the money.
Yeah.
His name was Alex. Yeah, that goes back a ways. But so you're enjoying that too when those opportunities come.
Absolutely, and it's it's just an unexpected icing on the cake sort of thing.
Yes, exactly. I want to ask you, you're back home. You're in Kentucky, where you're from originally. And you've gone back during the COVID time and all. It's a grounding. When you get to go back home, some people don't get a chance to go back home. They're out wherever they are, and that's it. You seem to have this opportunity to get back home. And is it a recharge for you or a reboot? a grounding. You got New York, you got LA, you got all of this, and then you go back home to the Midwest, to Kentucky. You can leave that there temporarily, regroup, reconnect, get that grounding, some of that Midwest feeling again, and then go back out and tackle LA, New York, and all the rest. Does that work that way for you? And if so, it's terrific. Always have an opportunity to go back home. I love to do it too.
Yes. Well, it does work, but and it kind of helps to create a balance. But I go back and forth a lot. So, like I will go and I'll spend like half a month in LA and then I'll be back here, or I'll be, wherever I need to be according to what's happening. If I've got an important audition and they need to see me in person, I'm going to fly out and do that audition.
Have you been doing self-tapes? I did a few self-tapes.
A lot of self-tapes.
That's a big thing now.
Which that's the thing that has kind of allowed me for the moment to be where I am, is the whole self-tape situation. If this were the time period before COVID, when most of the casting was taking place in office,
yes,
I would be back in LA right now. But the situation as it is, and will probably continue for the industry, because it's a lot easier, I think, for all sides involved, both casting and talent, until you get into the final stages. Let's say if you're in a third callback, they usually, they want to see you in person.
Do you like the self-tape, or do you prefer? I've heard mixed. A lot of people liking the self-tape, but I've heard a few people say, I still like having the coffee and seeing the other performers and chatting with them, and then seeing the casting director in person. I've heard a mix, a lean more towards the self-tape, but a few who still like the camaraderie of doing it.
Well, it's like a scale. You have advantages and disadvantages. The advantages to being in office are they can immediately do adjustments, and they like to see adjustments.
Take another take and maybe be a little quieter or smile more, right?
And then there's that personal experience, especially if you're familiar with a casting director. You can sort of chat a bit, and then if they have the director or producers there, you can have the opportunity to sort of chat with them and get to have that personal touch. But the advantages to self-taping are you can do it quicker. If you want a quick turnaround, you can do it quicker. If you have a studio set up like I do, then you can literally get ready, learn that script, run downstairs, turn on the lights, get everything ready, and boom, edit it and get it out in a very short period of time, which you could literally do in the time it would take you to drive across town in LA. Because if you're familiar with LA, depending upon where you're going, if you're going from Santa Monica to Burbank, it could take a while.
Exactly, yes.
and so the advantage to self-taping as well, though, is getting to do it over again. So if you do a take and you kind of feel like, what, no, something was a little bit off there, you can do it again, and they'll never know the difference. Now, if you're in the room and something goes awry in the middle of your performance, well, there's not a whole lot you can do.
There's not,
except ask to do it again.
Exactly. And sometimes they'll give you that shot if they really are interested. I've had that a few times, and I'll tell you when I've had that, where they've said, okay, because of being, I think probably because of my years as being a professionally trained television and radio broadcaster, with all of that training as a broadcaster. And sometimes I would go in for infomercial host auditions, corporate videos, voiceover work, whatever, commercial actor. And I know what they're going to say the very first run through, the very first take of that audition. They're going to say, okay, now that you've worked that out, try it this way. And usually for me, the very first thing that happens is all of the professional, polished broadcast training is what comes out, because I look at it with such great respect an honor. So if somebody's going to hand me a slip of paper that has these words on it, to me, those words are of great importance. Every single word, even the is of great importance. So in the beginning, I will sort of use the broadcast training, and they'll say, that was really fantastic. Now you can lose the announcer.
You're like, but that's what I do.
I said, are you kidding me? What? That's you know how many years it took to to have that polished broadcast sound? But I get it, and there are times where that's been what they need and want, because you don't see as much of that. So the first one will be that. Hi, I'm Jim Masters. It's nice to see you. Welcome. Here we are at Acme Incorporated, that kind of thing. And then they'll say, okay, that's good. That's really good. Now just say it. Now just say it. Just say it. Yeah, we know, because we have a lot of people that come in who are broadcast people, and they're professionally trained and they've been on the air for a long time. And there's certain ways that you do it. And they say the same thing to all of them. Now just say it as if we're on the street on a corner and you're talking to me. And that's basically it, which is kind of cool. Yeah. How about you? Is there anything that you do in the beginning? Does the accent come out from Kentucky at all, or anything?
No. And so usually I do not use the accent, which I can go into at a moment's notice, because I grew up talking like this. So, I mean, literally, I grew up in southeastern Kentucky, and that's how I ended up talking all the time. But no, I normally do not use that in auditions unless it calls for it. And now,
have there been times where that has actually come in handy, and they're like, that's exactly the sound we want, and you don't have to juice it up. You've got it.
I've got it. Now, the thing about it is I've only actually had one instance so far in my career where I used my accent growing up. And that was for a series called The Pact, which is going to be coming out. Still has not been released yet, and was put off because of COVID. Yeah, I play a sheriff, and I definitely have a Southeastern Kentucky accent. It's interesting, Jim, what I've auditioned for other projects where I use the accent, but what I tend to get, and you can take this however you want, but what they tend to say is, that's great, but you look so intelligent.
So when you come out with the accent and then the look, the two things, they're like,
they feel like
that out.
So I guess in their minds, they cannot place the accent with intelligence,
with the look,
which is kind of terrible. And I feel like, but yeah.
So when they say that, do you say, why, thank you? How do you answer that when they say that?
When it's casting, you just say. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate looking intelligent.
I've read Moby Dick twice.
Yeah. I appreciate looking intelligent, but I'd love to get the role.
Yeah, because that's exactly right. Strip the intelligent.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? It's interesting. It's really cool. I mean, it's all subjective, and you never know, because sometimes, I was on a television shoot once, actually, where I was brought in to be sort of the spokesperson / host. And it was for a medical doctor's practice, a pain management company, which was up in Massachusetts in Springfield. And they had gone through a lot of different people. And I knew the producer, because the producers were the local NBC affiliate. They were doing the actual commercial for that client. So they had gone through male, female, the doctor or the head of the medical pain management practice wasn't sure what he was looking for. One minute he wanted a female, next minute he wanted a male, next minute he wanted two people, then he wanted one.
No.
So I guess he was driving the NBC affiliate, the production crew, crazy, because they're like, we got to start shooting this because your ad campaign on our station is starting soon. So they brought me in They put me in the white lab coat, and I'd done a couple of doctor roles before. And I threw the glasses on, threw a little silver in the hair, and all of a sudden I was, part of the pain management specialty crew. And we had like 12 commercials to do with all of this content. It was really funny. And I'm sure you have stories where sometimes if people only know what you have to do to pull things off, to make it look so fantastic when you see it on TV, when you see it in the movie theaters, when you see it on stage, what goes on behind the scenes to pull these things off. Sometimes it's to the last second. Sometimes somebody has to get some string and tie something together. Somebody off camera is holding something by their teeth. And this was one of those situations where they realized that the 12 commercials that we were going to shoot that day consecutively, with all the medical jargon, had to be on prompter because they were pretty lengthy and they were filled with jargon. So they're like, oh no, we don't have the teleprompter. The news department is out on a story and they have the prompter for their reporter. So what they did was, I just remember it. I could see.
Did they have somebody holding and
what they did? They didn't do. Well, they didn't have a guy holding a card and then another card and another card, like sliding it. You know how they'll have the big card with the words and then they'll just throw the card on the floor. And then you have if you ever see, for folks watching, you ever see when they pull the camera back on Saturday Night Live, when they're going to break after a sketch or a skit, you'll see the cameras. Yeah. One of my friends is the floor manager at Saturday Night Live. So she's been there for years. And you'll see the cue cards for the cast members and everything. This was like, they tried to do it in a different way. So what they did was they took all of those big cue card with magic marker writing, pieces of white paper. They somehow taped them all together. They found a big roller, a huge roller. They rolled it, and the guy would start right about here and would walk backwards, rolling it all the way to the camera. It was like, if people could see, it's going to look so good when it's done with the graphics, the music, and the lighting, and the content. But what we have to do to pull this off. So it was a situation where, fortunately, the director of the pain management center loved it. And he said, after 700 people, male, female, tall, short, this age, that age, whatever, all these people they went through, he was satisfied with what, he got. And I think one of the things that nailed it too, I found out later, was maybe my delivery and maybe a little of the broadcast sound. So he liked that, was that he said afterwards, oh, I watch you on public television. And that sort of sealed the deal a little bit there.
There you go.
I don't know if you ever had this happen as well. That sealed the deal once when I was in the car with a friend and we were going to a ping pong tournament up in Massachusetts that he was competing in. And it was a situation where the car he was driving sort of matched, or what they thought matched, a car that had been involved in a motor vehicle accident on the highway just before. So we were stopped and I was in the passenger side, and you see the officer coming. And my friend had never been stopped for anything ever. So this was a first for him. So I said, you just relax, calm, cool, collected, whatever is needed, just answer the questions, smile, and just, go with it. Don't, try to think of anything quick, just because he was nervous. It was the very first time. And so the officer doesn't go on the driver's side, which makes sense because, the highway, it can be dangerous. So he goes on the passenger side, and he looks at the front of the car, doesn't see any damage, of course. Then he looks the car over. I have my window on the passenger side rolled down, and I look up at him. He looks at me and he said, hello, gentlemen. And we're like, hello, how are you? I don't know if my friend even said anything. I just said, hi, how are you? Good afternoon, sir. he said, where you headed? I said, we're headed to Quincy, Massachusetts. He's in a big table tennis tournament, and we're headed there now. As a matter of fact, in the back seat, you can see all the table tennis equipment. He's competing in it, and I'm going to root him on. He goes, okay. Because there had been a hit and run accident on the highway just a couple exits down, and this model car and the color is very similar. So we just wanted to make sure of what it is. And then he takes a double take and he looks at me again. I'm like, uh-oh, he's like staring. He's like, you start thinking, what did you do? Yeah, man, when I was 5, maybe I took that extra lick of the ice cream cone. Is that going to show up now or something? He goes, are you on public television? Are you on PBS? And I said, yeah, he is. He taps the hood like this. I love PBS. You guys are good to go. Have a good day. That was it.
Hey, you know what?
Like, wait a minute.
Stuff like that doesn't happen all the time, but if it does, you're very thankful. So,
have you ever had similar things happen?
I
saw you in an ad or something?
I have. So first of all, to get back to the teleprompter story, let me just tell you that I once did a spokesperson project where we went through the whole series, and then they decided instead of a white jacket, they wanted a blue jacket. And so we did the whole thing again. But I was being paid very well.
I was just about to say, I hope that,
I was being paid
that
very
was
well.
actually to your advantage.
Yeah. So I wasn't too sad. Oh my gosh, I almost hate to tell this story, but you brought it up, so I will. So when I went up to audition for Chicago Fire, I was coming back from Chicago after I auditioned, and I got the call from my agent saying, "You booked it. You're going to be Dr. Mabery." And I was so excited. So I'm driving along. I get into Indiana, and we're driving along, and I'm on the phone with a friend of mine, and I'm talking about the excitement of booking this role for Chicago Fire. And I'm going through a construction area. It's at night. There's not a lot of traffic. I'm not paying any attention. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've booked Chicago Fire. And all of a sudden, a car pulls up next to me, and I kind of look over, and I realize it's a cop. And so I instantly look at my speedometer, and I hit the brake, right, to slow down.
Yes.
Big mistake. And so he slows down and pulls behind me and turns on the lights. And I'm like, oh crap, I got to go. I'm being pulled over. I'm going to get a ticket. So I pulled over, and he gets out, and he comes up, and he says, so I was following you for a number of miles, and you looked like you were weaving a little bit and going a little bit over what your speed limit should be in this construction zone. And it was past the hours where they were working it, but of course I wasn't going to say that. And I was like, I said, "Officer, sir, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." I said, I'm so excited. I just auditioned for Chicago Fire. I found out that I booked the role, and I was on the phone with a friend of mine telling her about it, and I wasn't paying attention like I should have, but I was just so excited. And he stops and he goes, "What? Chicago Fire?" And I'm like, "Yeah, see," and I had literally had the sides from the Chicago Fire audition in my seat. And I showed him, and I was like, "I just auditioned for Chicago Fire, and I booked it, and I'm so excited." And and he said, "That's my favorite show." And so he took my license back, and he ran it, and I thought I was still getting a ticket. And he came back, and he said, "Okay," he said, "I'm going to give you a warning this time." He said, "But just be careful and pay attention to what you're doing, and no going over the speed limit." And
I'll see you next week.
Chicago Fire is my favorite show. and he did something that I never had in another time in a stop. He reached in and he shook my hand. And so I imagine that sometime after that, when the show aired, he's sitting there probably with his wife, and he's like, "That's him."
I stopped him. I got to stop him.
That is
and I
him.
shook his hand.
That's the guy. That's the guy. So yeah. Yeah.
There are those times, right? There are those times.
Hey, you know what? As performers, if something great like that happens, then you're just thankful. Listen, I was very thankful I didn't get a ticket. That would have been a big bummer on what was a really good day.
I heard that you've been going gluten-free lately.
Oh my God, so you can see me back there in the back causing a little havoc. That is, I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm terrible at names on what that photographer's name is. Famous photographer who does all of these fascinating and amazing shots for everything from an American Express to you name it. This was for Udi's Gluten Free. And this was, I think that was at a big house in Malibu with an incredible view, but of course you don't see the view in this shot. And
you're in the back, and it looks like you're grabbing a scoop of something there.
I'm sneaking a little pasta there. So with a guilty look on my face. So it's interesting the way he creates these shots. So he kind of concentrates on each person in each area, and then he puts it all together. Now, everyone, everyone is doing their thing at the same time.
Yes.
But what he does is he takes all of these shots, and then he takes he's like, okay, in this shot, I liked what she was doing, what was happening there.
Yes.
And then he takes it and puts it all together, and it ends up turning into some very fascinating end product.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So that was a print piece then.
Yeah, that was print. Once again, another print project. And gosh, if I think about it, I'm trying to think when the print work really started, but that was an earlier one. And yeah, it kind of just keeps building upon itself.
What are some other crazy things? We each had our own story about the stop with the officer, where neither one of us did anything. And then they recognized us from television, which was fantastic, and we're fans of the work. What are some things that have happened on set, perhaps, that might have been a little crazy, or some funny moments, things of that nature? I guess there's a few, huh?
Where do
I begin?
Where to begin? Okay. Oh my God. Let's see. Well, I was working on
well,
if the producer just happens to be watching this or ends up watching it, it'll probably bring back some bad memories for her. But I was working on a project. I won't say which one, but I was working on a project one time, and we were not in that scene that was being filmed. We were outside being filmed in this gorgeous home, and all of a sudden we heard a smash and a blood-curdling scream. And I knew that scream wasn't in the script. And I was like, oh my God, like, what happened? Like, what just happened? And what happened was there was a scene where a prop vase was supposed to be smashed.
Mm-hmm.
And this was being filmed in a home, and the actor picked up an actual very expensive vase by mistake.
Once it's expensive, it goes from vase to vase.
He picked up a vase and smashed it. And that was the producer letting out her blood-curdling scream when she realized what occurred.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's an example of something interesting that has happened behind the scenes. But you know what? With the type of work that I do, it's like interesting because you create a family for each and every project. Yes. So there's a group of people you work with. Some of those people have remained friends for life,
which is
from
cool.
Projects that I've done. Some of them, you say goodbye to, and you end up, not really talking to again. It just kind of depends.
Right.
But each and every project for me is enjoyable in various ways, and I just love working with everyone. And
What's something you haven't done yet that you'd love to do? Is there a role?
Yes,
Is there a scenario
there is.
that you'd like to do?
You know what I would love to do that I haven't done is, and I have done some sci-fi projects on a smaller scale, but I would love to work on a big sci-fi movie or a big sci-fi show or a superhero type situation, because I love those things.
Yeah.
But I have never done that. And
with Paranormal Frequency sort of headed in that direction a little bit, right?
And kind of sort of, but like Captain of the Enterprise. Something. I know. Big ideas, right? Big thoughts, but you asked. I mean, it's like some of these things would just be really fascinating for me as an actor. Because
are you fans of Star Trek and,
yes,
and all the rest, Star Wars?
I love the shows. And so I think, talk about enjoyment, that would be like enjoyable to play and be part of. So since you were asking, I'm putting it out there to the universe.
To the universe. It's out there. Maybe it's something you could create.
That is a possibility.
And bring people in, a team, and have the vision. If it's something that doesn't come on its own, you can sort of find a way to foster the creation of it, maybe.
Well, and I don't want to give too much away, but the script that I'm starting is sci-fi based, but not entirely like what I mentioned, like Star Trek. It's very different, but yeah, I mean, I just like I've always loved those types of things. My favorite film of all time is Star Wars, the original Star Wars, the first one. And there are a lot of films I love for their incredible acting, for their incredible stories, but Star Wars, like, for me, has it all. Like, I love the film.
Merlin in Canada had asked if you are your own stunt man. Do you ever have situations where stunts are required? I mean, when we saw you laying on the floor, 1,000 Ways to Die, that really is Dwight. Truth in advertising there, that this is him doing his own
yes. So I have had situations of where I worked very closely with the stunt coordinators and people setting up the scenes, and but I have done my own stunts. I have had a couple of situations where people did step in, but for the most part, at least up until now, I've done a lot of my own stunt work. But I always go, depending upon what the stunt is, through a good amount of training. Like I've done quite a number of episodes for Investigation Discovery as detectives and police. And in those episodes, if there is, a lot of action involved, or particular things that you're doing with like handcuffs or guns, or I go through a lot of training, and I've gone through training with actual police, actual real life police, to make sure that things were done correctly. And then like on the Pact and scenes with that, and even on some stage work that I've done, I've gone through some extensive training, because, the last thing you want is for someone to get hurt, and that can affect, filming. And so you want to make sure that everything is planned out, so that when it happens, it looks real and in the moment, and everybody's fine when they say cut.
Exactly right. Have there ever been any close calls, anything where, you ducked fast enough or something happened? I mean, there's probably times with all of us where things can get a little crazy just because of the speed and all the equipment and the scenery, everything around.
Are you referring to the time I was hit by the car? No, I'm kidding. No. Every, I've been lucky. Everything, though, I think the worst thing that happened to me is I was doing an episode of Undercovers and I fell. Like I literally, like we were filming in a big opera house and there was a step and I missed it. And went tumbling and but that wasn't,
But that, you just pick yourself up and dust yourself off and there you are. Hey, we got another shot here. Look at this one.
Gosh, I'm wondering how much I should give away. Let's just say that there's a point where a little Christmas magic happens to me.
Yes.
How about that?
And here's this shot.
That is with Nick Turturro. That's from the Deported. Yeah,
Yes.
That's a scene near the end of the film.
That's a really good shot too. Also, in addition to everything we've been talking about, Murder Comes to Town. Tell us about that one too.
Well, that actually, I was just talking about situations where I was trained by actual police officers, and that's an example of that. So that was filmed in Tennessee, and it was a good experience.
Yeah.
I got to work with 2 actual Tennessee police officers to train me on how to do a stop with a car and how to get out, where to stand, how to hold the gun in that situation, how to frisk, how to use the handcuffs. So it was some extensive training to make sure that everything looked correct on camera.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? Then now forever I have that knowledge and can use that if I'm, involved in other projects where, that would come in handy.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. We actually have a clip from that. Murder Comes to Town with Dwight Turner.
Carlos, we got to talk.
So we got to talk. What a cool role there, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was actually trained by
you were
police for that.
by the actual. Have you ever? I don't know if we talked about this last time, Dwight, but I know I've asked a few people this. Have you ever had a situation where you've taken on a role, whether it's film, television, or stage, but it was so intense and it was so involved, the character and the plot line, where it just becomes very consuming? I know some people, they get overtaken by and overwhelmed by that character. And sometimes they even have trouble separating themselves from the character because they're living and breathing that character so much, especially in ongoing series or roles on stage or whatever it may be. Have you had some instances where the character is so intense where, you can take on the role and take a deep dive in, but it can be a little overwhelming in certain ways just because of maybe the storyline, the content, whatever you're witness to?
Oh, and it's funny. A police car is going by.
How did you
outside.
time that?
I know.
How did you time that?
Perfect.
They saw the clip because they watched the Jim Masters show in Louisville, Kentucky.
Exactly.
And that was a thumbs up.
There we go.
From that's the real Lovity Squad.
you might notice that after we came back from that clip, like I wasn't smiling as much because in my mind, I'm going through, as I'm watching the clip, all the emotions that I felt while filming, and it all comes back. Now, but I do clearly separate from a character once I am finished with the character. But while I'm filming, I am that character within, of course, the confines of, what we're doing. What's the best way to explain that? When I am actually in it, I am in it. I feel like I am that person for that moment. and I am literally going through the motions. You know, I've gone over the script, memorized it and everything, going through the motions of that situation as if it were really happening to me, within the confines of understanding that you're doing a film or a television show and it's from a script, if that makes sense. Trying
Separating
to live
out that it's a script and it's not
yeah,
real.
yeah. So I never distance myself from the fact that we are working on a project, that we are working, but
how about true stories, you know, where this is based on a true story and then you're living it and you're like, wow, this actually did happen.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, when I work on a character, what I do is, and I may have mentioned this last time I was on your show, I can't remember if I did or not, but what I do is I get the script and I start reading it, and I have two different things going on in my mind. Here's Dwight, here's who I am, here's this character and who this character is. And what I start working towards is bringing them closer and closer together until I reach a point eventually of where there's a melding between the two that works for the project and for the character. And at a certain point, you know, I know when I've reached that, and then I feel very comfortable being in the character's shoes. And then once cut is said, you let it go. And then when you finish the project, you completely let it go, to where like if I memorized, let's say if I memorized 6 pages of a script,
right,
and I perform that, 3 days later, you ask me what the lines were for that script, I couldn't even tell you, because I'm already on to the next things, the next
thing,
lines, the next scripts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I sat down and started like looking through the script again, then it would start to come back to me. But I'd have to do that. It's not like it's going to stay there, because if it did, I'd never be able to remember the new stuff, because, you know, it'd be stuck in there. So yeah, once it's done, I let it go. But when I'm in it and filming, I'm in it. So, you know, that scene that you saw, those scenes you saw from Murder Comes to Town, when I'm playing that role and we're filming, like
that's nothing else is going on other than that scene.
Exactly. You got it.
You do you watch your material after it's done? I know there's some people, I think Johnny Depp was one of them. I could be mistaken, but I could have sworn he's one who, when he does a movie or whatever he does, when they do say wrap, that's a buy, done, he's on to the next project. He doesn't really watch what he just did. Do you watch what you just did to learn, to critique, to fine tune, or do you immediately detach and move on?
Well, I will always go to the premiere. And in fact, next week I'm going, there is a project called The Contradictory Couple, which I have a premiere for, that I'm going to go down and check out. And I've heard very good feedback about it. I haven't seen it yet. So hopefully I'm going to be very, very happy with it. But I will always go to the premiere. And I am not afraid to see myself on camera or see myself on screen. I see it almost like, what's the best way to explain this? Okay.
Yeah, like you're learning from it. You can see how you can better yourself.
If you're a football player and you play in that football game, right? And then the coach later shows you a playback and shows you what you did wrong. Okay, you're going to be a bit detached from it because it's after the fact.
Right.
But you're going to watch it and say, okay, what could I have done better? What could I do different? What really worked there? What, you know, and that's kind of the way I approach it. Like when I'm watching it afterwards, it's like, okay, that's, you know, that's done. And taking a look at it to see sort of like what really worked, what I could do better, what and what to take forward for the next project. Oh, here comes more sirens.
Hot action in Greater Louisville tonight, huh? Normally a sleepy town is all of a sudden coastal.
Yeah.
They're doing that. They're watching. That's what it is.
Well,
They're
it's
watching
interesting
that
that
show,
we just had
and they
stop
love
with
the
a
Jim
cop car
Master
with
Show
some
live. So
sirens, and now,
we've got the
we've
thumbs
got
up from the authorities, which is
There
a
we go.
very good thing to have. That's funny. The timing.
You know, one of the things I wanted to mention, Jim, is you know, when I came back to this area in Kentucky, they were just taking tax incentives away.
For film production.
Yeah,
They
yes.
were,
And-
huh? Really?
But they brought them back the beginning of
Good.
this year, and now there are a bunch of projects coming to
That are
Kentucky, which is
happening.
really exciting. Kentucky gets it's either 30 or 35% back, capped at 75 million per year. So it's a pretty good program, and I think there are already like 8 films coming to Kentucky
fantastic.
like this early in the year from that. So that's really exciting, and I'm very, very happy that that is happening.
So cool things are happening. You know,
Yes.
the wheels are turning, and you're enjoying the ride. And
I am completely enjoying the ride.
What do you do away from all of this? What do you do to keep busy, to sort of, or not even keep busy, to zen, to refresh, reboot? Like, I love tennis. I love cycling. I love swimming. I love music. How about you? What are some things you like to do totally away from the industry, from all of the hard work?
So totally away from the industry, I have, you know, friends that I love doing things with. The Derby is coming up.
Yes.
And so there will be things involved with that. Louisville is a foodie town. There are lots of fantastic places to eat. That can be a good or a bad thing, depending upon how much weight you want to lose.
And what's your go-to? What's Dwight Turner? I don't think we talked about that last time. What's your go-to food? If you were on an island and the Lord above said, you can only take one thing with you, and that's the only food you'd have for the rest of your life.
Give me a good steak.
You're good.
Medium rare. And some dark chocolate. And
See,
I'd be happy.
we would be good on that island, because you would want the steak and I want the mashed potatoes, and the steak and the potatoes go well together. I always say, it's the Irish within. Give me mashed potatoes. If God said you got one choice of all the things, mashed potatoes would do it for me.
Luckily,
and you got the steak.
Luckily, I have a fairly fast metabolism, or I'd be doomed, because I love good food.
Do you like to cook?
I did not until COVID happened.
See, that's what happened.
And that's what happened. I learned how to cook.
What did you do? What did you whip up?
Pardon?
Do you have any specialties? What did you end up cooking?
Oh my gosh, all kinds of different things. So I've learned how to bake. And so there goes my cakes and pies and stuff, which I shouldn't eat a lot of, but I do enjoy. And I learned how to make fantastic pastas. I love Italian food. So I'm really good at making pastas. And I can even create my own sauces. So now I can't create the pastas from scratch.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole
but
other...
I can create the sauces. And
anything that is tied to the area there in Kentucky, what would be some for folks that are outside Kentucky, or people that are watching internationally that are like, gee, what is some staples in the Kentucky area?
Absolutely. And I send pictures of it sometimes back to my friends on the West Coast, and they're like, oh my God, is that like for one person?
Yeah, the portions.
Portions are big. So biscuits and gravy for breakfast is a big thing here. Oh, I should have sent you a picture. You could have shown it, but I made
What do you mean a picture? You can't send some biscuits and gravy, FedEx and Tupperware? I mean, forget about the picture, send the food.
So good. And you know, like You have biscuit on a cold, snowy day. You have biscuits and gravy and maybe some country ham or sausage, and it's just like, wow.
Did you eat dinner already?
My mouth is watering right now.
I was just about to say I didn't yet. However, I think I will be right after this episode. So cooking has become something, cooking, baking, something because of the pandemic that is an added skill set that has been enhanced or developed, huh?
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, Jim, I mean, I truly do not know if I would have learned the skills that I have learned over COVID if COVID hadn't happened. So, as horrible as COVID is, there are some interesting things that occurred from it. I'm involved with a musical. I have learned how to cook.
Yes.
And I think also I've learned how to really appreciate traveling, people, and my work even more.
And that life is precious, life is short, and to maximize really every moment that we are given, because every moment truly is a gift, as we've seen during the pandemic and with other, what's going on in Ukraine, unfortunately. Life can change on a dime, and it's really important to, we say it a lot on the show, express empathy and kindness and bring us together, and because it can literally change on a dime and anything can happen. So to recall that and remember that as often as possible is one of my master's mantras. And I think it's really, really important. Somebody else here that agrees is Mr. George Burns.
Oh, look at that. Yes.
He is back. He is there with his cigar, and he said he has thoroughly enjoyed this conversation tonight. And he said, you're knocking out of the park everything that you're doing, kiddo. And he thoroughly enjoyed himself.
It's really exciting. It's an exciting time for me. And thank you, Jim. I always love appearing on your show. I love that first time that I was on here because you are, one, you have a lot of experience and you're a good interviewer and you make it fun.
That's what I try to do, right? Exactly. Warm, conversational, sort of old school Dick Cavendishe style, with a modern flair, modern twist. And
absolutely.
And we go in a lot of different directions. What's cool, what I love about it is you have no idea about what I'm going to ask you. I don't even call them interviews. I call these conversations. You have no idea what I'm going to ask you or how or when or what content we're going to pull up when. And I think that's what makes it cool, especially when we're live like this and everybody's watching live and they're interacting and they're commenting and we're all in this together, the viewers, the host, the guest. It's a marriage of the minds and all this levity, which I think is really, really cool. Unscripted, no prompters here.
I know. I always get a little nervous because I think like, oh my God, what if something goes wrong? It's live. There's nothing you can do.
And there has been. We've had, there's sometimes a guest has technical problems. Sometimes a storm comes through, takes the Wi-Fi out, or just things happen. But that can happen. You've seen it happen on sets. I've been in television studios, radio studios, film sets where equipment fails, a light bursts, something happens. I was on public television once in the television studio and the fire alarms went off in the building and we were live. We were talking live and we had to be escorted out to the parking lot. And the guest was Tommy James from the Shondells coming in to talk about his special and his career. So he's in the parking lot and it's winter. He's in the parking lot in his limo. And he invited people to come into the warm limo to warm up because everybody was staying in the parking lot and waiting for the fire department to come because they had moved into a new 6th floor building and the alarms went off. And the unfortunate thing was the folks up in master control upstairs, they had nothing else to go back to because we were still live. The log, the television broadcast log still had all this space factored in, calculated where we're supposed to be on the air talking. So they were scrambling upstairs and it was a brand new building that had been re-outfitted from IBM to a full 6th floor television and radio studio. And there was something that was smoldering in I think the lobby and the ceiling, maybe a light fixture or something, but enough to trigger
it off.
Yeah. So things can happen and you just go with it. I mean, we dusted
Yeah.
ourselves off, and when we got the clear, we went back into the studio, and I think they did dip to black for a while with the logo up, please stand by or whatever. But it was an interesting situation, and you dust yourself off and you go back out and do it again, right?
Yes, you absolutely do. Like sometimes with what we do, you have to expect the unexpected and go with it when it happens.
Exactly right. Exactly right. This was awesome, my friend. We had a really good time, and I hope we get a chance. Now, we've done it, so I hope we get a chance to do it again, be in the same zip code, whether it's New York or it is, the Midwest, or it is the West Coast if I'm on a shoot out there or something, and we break bread again, because it's been far too long since the pandemic and everything. We've had a chance to do that, and
I agree.
And for the audience watching, Dwight and I are actual friends off air, and we text and email and call, and whenever Dwight has something cool happening, he's always like letting me know and sharing it, and I'm doing the same, and that's friendship that goes beyond any of this periphery here that we've created. But really cool. And you were one of our earlier guests when we launched the Jim Masters Show live. So it's really cool to see all the fabulous things that are happening. You've gotten through the pandemic, the family has, which is very nice to hear. And we'll keep that porch light on for you. As I always say, I mean, you've experienced it before, but I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have and the Lovedies have with you, my friend.
I loved it. Thank you, Jim. Thanks to the Lovedies. Let me just say at the end, once again, if you want to find out what's happening with me, dwightturner.com, imdb.me/Dwight Turner. Either of those two are the best places to go. And there's going to be a lot of updates coming to the dwightturner.com website. And then the paranormalfrequency.com is going to be where you can go to find out information on this new show that's coming. So exciting things are happening. Stay tuned.
Yes, that's right. What a tease that is. I mean, what a tease that is. And the graphics are a little changed now, but that's quite a tease. Well, I tell you, it has been terrific, and all the fabulous Lovedies, Lisa and Christine and Maureen and Kathleen and Nikki and Linda and everybody else that's commenting, and those who are watching quietly. Not everybody comments. We realize that. We have many more viewers that watch live and then watch this later in the replay archives who never comment. They never say who they are, but it's beautiful having them here. We encourage you guys, if you haven't, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Dwight has been a longtime subscriber and supporter of the series and the channel. And leave a comment on our YouTube channel underneath this episode as well. Really fantastic, my friend. We chatted for almost 2 hours again.
Oh my gosh, has it? Has it been 2 hours?
It's just about, an hour and almost 50 minutes here.
Wow. It went by fast. I had no idea.
It? Now, I hope you don't have another last time you had that thick script you had to go through. Do you have another one of those tonight, or can you relax and eat and put your feet up?
This time around, I'm writing the script.
Oh, so you're writing it. Well, I can't wait till you text me next time to tell me what gig you got as a result of once again coming on the Jim Masters Show.
I'm telling you, Jim, sprinkle that magic, sprinkle that thing you do.
The JMS Lovedy. That's what it is. You be well, my friend. This was really awesome. Good connecting with you again, and for all the Lovedies to reconnect. And we'll have you back. The door is always open and the porch light is on, and keep spreading the word too. I know you've spread the word, and you've sent some wonderful guests our way as well who've come on the show because you've experienced it. So feel free to keep doing that, my friend. Always a blessing and a joy to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye, Lovedies.
Yes. Are you going to have another espresso, or are you up for the night now with the one?
I'm going to finish this one, and I probably will be up till 3 a.m.
Well, enjoy it. Enjoy it. You be well, my friend. It was really cool and fantastic as always.
Thank you. A pleasure.
Bye-bye. Dwight Turner live from the greater Louisville, Kentucky area here on the Jim Masters Show live. a really cool update on so many great things happening in his life since he was here last. If you didn't see the episode, of course, this is tonight's episode, but if you didn't see the episode he was on previously, he was one of our earlier guests. Believe it or not, we're talking, this is 2022. He was on in 2020. But of course, we communicate all the time, off air and everything because we're friends. But it's really cool that, life is going well for him, and he's doing his thing on television, film, and stage, doing some producing as well, and just enjoying the ride like we all are. A lot of work, making it look easy. But obviously, like he said, when I asked him, what else would you be doing if not being in these industries, he actually didn't think of anything. He just loves it so much. And that makes sense. It makes total sense. And I don't know, some of that food that he said, I'm going to have to take a trip out to Louisville. Do you want to do a road trip, gang? A lovely road trip? Jim Master Show, lovely road trip out to Louisville, and we'll have him cook for us. I think he gave us a thumbs up. We're coming to your house. You got enough plates and silverware for all of us?
We'll make it work. We'll
make it work. Get cooking. Here we come. Thanks, Dwight. Take care. We always have fun. One of the things, even though we have deep conversations and we go in a lot of different directions with our series, we always end up smiling, and I love levity, and I love looking for the line, looking for the joke, and just finding ways to put smiles on people's faces. Because as you know, turn on the news and there's some heady stuff happening just about every single day. So we go deep. We have great conversations, great entertainment, light love, levity, poignant conversations, a breadth of guests that come from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, stage, culinary arts, comedy, sports, and food, and everything else, which is the culinary arts. And thank you, Linda. And she's been to Louisville. Great food there as well. Maureen in Arizona, I'll start packing. Lisa, thank you, Dwight. Absolutely. Christine Clifton showed some of these earlier. Great conversation with so many stories and approaches as to playing all your roles. Interesting videos, clips, photos. And it's terrific how many projects you're working on. Thank you for joining us. This is his second visit. So you can go back and see the show earlier. And this show, again, you guys know this is something that I've created in April 2022, almost 2 years ago, on the side. But it's so involved doing this almost 7 days a week, and all the work that goes on behind the scenes, all the production, all the booking the guests, all the promo, just everything. It's like a full-time job, even though it isn't my full-time job. And I love it. And I love it because you guys are all here. Maureen says, this has been a load of fun. Thanks, Jim and Dwight, for a fascinating conversation. Thank you. And Nikki, thank you as well. And Kathleen Walker in New York City, and Merlin in Ontario. Some of our regular, you see probably some of these names appear regularly. They are the diehard Lovity Squad. They do what they can. And it's really funny. If they're ever out of town or they miss an episode live, they actually send an apology. Oh, I have to watch I got to look at it in the archives. Oh, darn, I wanted to be here tonight. And we really appreciate that. So for anybody that isn't able to always be here live, and we realize you guys have lives, and so do we, I'm here for you. And I know a lot of you love to be here live because there's just something about being here when the show is live. It's really cool. It's very special. You have the opportunity to watch anything you missed in the Jim Masters Show archives on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Looks like a road trip is happening to Louisville to have some of that food. I'll just honk and you can run out to my car, Kay. The Lovities are already planning this trip so we can eat at the Turner household. Kind of cool, huh? We thank my buddy Dwight for joining us here on the show once again. Really fantastic conversation and some cool things for you to look at. DwightTurner.com, of course, the website. Cool to have him here. Want to let you know tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. Yes, we Irish. I'm Irish on my mother's side. We have a special, yes, a Lovity St. Patrick's Day special we are doing, celebrating everything Irish on St. Patrick's Day, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. You guys will be able to be interactive. You can comment. Let us know about what you're doing for St. Patrick's Day, what foods you're having, how you celebrate the holiday. We're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow on St. Patrick's Day, a JMS, St. Patrick's Day Levity holiday special celebrating everything Irish on St. Patrick's Day itself. That is right here on the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. We kick it off at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live. And we may do a few things earlier in the day too. So stick with us on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, to see if we're able to squeeze some things in earlier. We might be able to do that throughout the day. So some cool things happening. We will be here with you. And again, it's a Levity special. You know what that means? That means you guys are involved, and you guys, if you want to email us some photos between now and tomorrow of maybe you and your St. Patrick's Day garb or things you do for St. Patrick's Day, we'll try to get it in and on the air for tomorrow's show. But that's tomorrow. Then on Friday, Sterling Meyer. She is amazing. She's a manifestation expert, life coach, an intuitive, also a psychic. She developed the AOM system, which is amazing, manifesting mastery in 30 days. We're going to be talking about how you can manifest your heart's desires and all your dreams. That's right. With Sterling Meyer, she's the expert out in Beverly Hills, Hollywood, California. She was a guest on our show. It's been about a year and a half ago, and she's returning. She's wanted to come back on for the longest time, and she's returning on Friday with some exciting new things to tell us about. You'll be able to ask questions. You can participate. Again, she's an intuitive, psychic, a phenomenal life coach, and a manifestation expert. She's here on Friday. Then Saturday, award-winning actress and producer Chelsea Vale is going to be with us. She's working on about 4 new movies right now. She's actually in partnership with David Gear, who is a dear friend of mine. She's a great friend as well. And they own Shadow Vale Productions, and they have so many movies out. Couple of cool things, television shows as well. They just did Damon's Revenge with Tom Sizemore, Secrets by the Shore, and so much more. She's with us on Saturday. This is going to be really exciting. Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Then live from Switzerland, Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, and musician. He's got a new album out called Talking Loud. AJ Bethur. He is extraordinary. He's well-known. He's worked with some of the legends in the music industry. He's going to be here on Sunday. Now, Sunday is a very special time. It's an earlier time for us. It's going to be 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And the reason why we're doing it earlier, because he's in Switzerland. So it'll be 7 p.m. for him in Switzerland. He's in Switzerland right now. So he's won all kinds of incredible accolades and awards. He's an incredible musician, singer, and songwriter. He's been doing it for years, and he's very well known internationally. He's going to be joining us on Sunday. Mark your calendars, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific for a Sunday afternoon with Jim and AJ episode. 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. For those over in Ireland, Scotland, England, and other areas, it is going to be 7 p.m. for folks in Switzerland, which is where he's going to be. Hey, if you didn't see the episode we did with Tony and Grammy winner John Lloyd Young, of course, John Lloyd Young was Frankie Valli in Jersey Boys on Broadway. And of course, you know, he's a brilliant actor and recording artist, so much more. He was on our show. If you missed that episode, you can see it in the archives on our channel, Jim Masters TV on YouTube. Brian Dunphy talking about Irish. Brian Dunphy from the High Kings, Irish singer-songwriter from the High Kings. He was a guest on the show. Did you see the episode when television, film, and stage actor and audiobook narrator Stephen Dexter was on the Jim Masters Show Live? He sure was. We had a great, epic conversation. Check that out if you missed that episode when he was here. We mentioned Saturday Night Live tonight as well. Coming up on the 28th of March, Christine Ullman, the Beehive Queen, acclaimed singer-songwriter, and she's been a vocalist with Saturday Night Live for a long time. She's still with the band, the Saturday Night Live band on NBC. She's going to be an exclusive guest coming up on the 28th of March. Again, tomorrow, St. Patrick's Day, a JMS holiday special, Lovity special with all of you. So we look forward to that and so much more. Let's take a look at some of the final comments coming in from the Lovity squad. Jane in Sweden says, hugs to you all. Thank you very much. Kathleen Walker says, have a great night. Good night, all. You as well. And everybody that's watching, let's take a look at some more. So, you know, AJ. Yes, AJ. We actually got contacted by their marketing and PR people. And that happens a lot now on our show. The folks that work in public relations and marketing, agents, managers for a lot of people love what we're doing here on the Jim Masters Show Live, because we really do give our guests unique time. We don't rush them through. We don't force them through. We just have a good conversation. We don't put any time clock on it. If I have to go quickly, then we do a quicker show. If a guest has to go somewhere early or got to get up early in the morning, we do a quicker episode. But generally, we just let it run and we all have fun. But Toby, yes, AJ Arthur is internationally known, and he's coming on Sunday. And thank you, Jane, as well. Thanks for being here, Dwight. Thanks, Jim. Jane in Sweden. Good night, all. Wear the green tomorrow for St. Patrick's Day. Absolutely. Till next time, we will be here with a special show for all of you. So Nikki says, my Irish part salutes the Irish part of all of you lovities. Absolutely. Linda says, can't wait for your St. Patrick's Day show. Thank you very much. If you want to see one of the fun ones we did, I think it was last year, check that one out. That is archived on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Again, you can see over 600 episodes of our entertainment lifestyle talk show series right here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Soon, they're also going to be on our website, jimmasters.com, which we are building. So we're going to have them shared there as well, which is going to be very, very cool. But if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, or you'd like to, we would love it if you did. Just hit that red button you see there. Click it. There's no cost. And you'll be a part of the JMS Lovity family. And it's really cool. Men, women, tall, short, every gender, every religious view, no religious view, every income, every zip code. It doesn't matter. Any of that. You are all welcome to join us here. And don't forget to give this episode a like and leave a comment for us on our YouTube channel as well. Underneath the channel or underneath the episode, give us a thumbs up. You see a little thumbs up icon there, and leave a comment for us as well. But again, we have some really cool things that are coming up. We're very excited about it all. And again, whenever you see this, the Jim Masters Show logo, you know you are in for a good time. We're working really hard behind the scenes here, almost 24/7, putting these shows together. And it's a blessing to have all of you with us, sharing in all of the lovity. Kathleen Walker, New York City says, thank you, Jim, for another great show. I needed something to get my mind off things. Dwight is awesome. So much to do around here, busy and stressful. I know, because you're getting ready to do a big move, right? So I'm glad that many of you like to chime in with the Jim Masters Show Live, and it takes you away from the chaos and craziness of life. That's a beautiful thing. Toby said something quite beautiful that she authentically shared. She says, I used to celebrate the day, but my brother passed away on St. Patrick's Day, 1995. Condolences and lovity sent your way from all of us here and from me. Toby, I know it must be very, very tough. Sometimes when a passing does happen on or near a holiday, that holiday is tied to it. So we send you lots of love and a big lovely hug from all of us here. You know that, of course, Toby. Lots of green shamrocks and hearts coming from Jane in Sweden. Yes, even the Swedish are going to be celebrating on the St. Patrick's Day. Kathleen Walker as well. Sherry Larson. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you, Jim, for another fantastic evening. Have a great St. Patrick's Day. Sweet dreams, all my lovelies. We sure will. It's tomorrow, and we will be here for our JMS Lovely Special. Tune in. I won't say any more because I don't want to give it all away, but tune in, and hopefully you'll be able to join us live. Hope all experience some luck of the Irish tomorrow. That's right. Matter of fact, we have this. You guys may remember around holiday time. Mary Bishop from Florida sent this along. Remember? You still have it here. It's kind of like, I guess, like an Irish Santa Claus, sort of. Yeah, because it is. Yes, it is a Santa Claus. I kept the tag on it. But it's an Irish one, as you could tell. See? He's here. And he's going to kick things off for us. So he sends all of you nothing but the luck of the Irish. He sees all of you. That's some beard, huh? He sees you. He sees Maureen. He sees Kathleen. He sees Sherry. He sees Nikki. He sees Merlin. Merlin's up in Canada, so Merlin's up that way. He sees Jane over there in Sweden. He sees everybody everywhere, all of you. Anybody we didn't mention, Christina, North Carolina, everybody. So he's kicking off St. Patrick's Day this week with some Irish flavor and flair. All right, gang, we're going to wrap up. Busy day today, busy day tomorrow. We thank Dwight for joining us. We thank you for joining us as well. I am your host, Jim Masters. Thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, stick with us on the Jim Masters Show Live. We're always putting together fun times for all of you. We always learn something. We're always educated, and we always have smiles for all of you. So spread the word. Don't forget, tell everybody you know. Get on top of Mount Everest with your bullhorn and tell everybody about the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. Subscribe, like, share, comment, share the links on your social media. That helps us big time. If you want to support us with the chat time when we're live, you can do that with super stickers, super emojis, and all the rest. And also afterwards, some of you have done that little heart that you see on the YouTube channel under the episodes that says thanks. That helps support our series as well. And we thank you for that. And yes, Merlin says relax. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. We haven't had dinner yet. It's 9:00 at night. We haven't had dinner yet. Oh, well, that's par for the course around here. We'll see you again tomorrow, St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. For those watching live, anybody else, if you're not watching this live, thanks for being a part of this show. Thanks for your viewership. Whether you're quietly watching this, you're watching this later in the replay archives, we really appreciate each and every one of you who watches, supports, and celebrates what we do here. We say it often on the Jim Masters Show Live. This is your host, Jim Masters. We wish you well. We'll see you tomorrow. Again, if you are going to watch this live, well, thank you for doing that. Or if you have watched it live, if you're going to watch this again, if you want to see this again, we archive it on the YouTube channel. You can see this or any of our episodes again at Jim Masters TV. For those of you who are watching this later on and you're not watching this when it's live, stay right here. Another episode of the Jim Masters Show Live comes up semi-live. When it's archived, it's not live, but you can see it again and enjoy it. For all of us here, thanks again. Another wonderful show in the books, and we'll be here for the next one. I'll just stay right in this chair and I'll wait for you. Maybe I'll wear green. Of course I will tomorrow. Thanks, guys. You are the best. We love you all. Be well. Take care of one another. Be good to one another. And thanks for participating and being a part of this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. Take care and be well. Cheers.